some amount so that they can be able to acquire the houses. The financial aspects are.
So you're talking about the mortgage?
Yes.
And we have, can you talk about the mortgage, Hinga, speaking to what Judy has said?
So, Your Excellency, a couple of things. What makes the issue of affordability a few things. One is the cost of land. There is a study by the Center for Affordable Housing in Africa that shows Nairobi has the most expensive land in the continent of Africa. But also, Your Excellency, in our country, we also have a lot of inequalities in terms of earning. A majority of Kenyans earn very little. So you have a situation where the cost of land is very high, and you have got very low income. And that leads to the proliferation of slums. Now, to address that, you have got to look at what we call the demand side of housing and supply side. Now, allow me to start with the supply, which is you have got to do something on the cost of land, and that is why, Your Excellency, through your leadership, we have zero-rated the cost of land. Land is a big barrier to ownership. So when you start a conversation by saying that you will not pay for the land, it's a big stride into one's home ownership. The second thing, Your Excellency, is the cost of construction. Cost of construction is prohibitive. And part of the reason why cost of construction is prohibitive is because on one side, you have got factors you cannot control. You know, global pricing for fuel, cement, and so on and so forth. But there are others we can control. The ones that you can control, for example, in our sector, VAT, and I hope I'm not going to get very complicated, VAT is what is called a real cost. Because when you build a house and you sell, there is no output tax, but there is input in the material. So in other words, when you buy cement, the cement comes in with VAT, the bag of cement. But you're not able to offset with an output because there is no output. So essentially, the cost of VAT goes straight to the buyer. Through your leadership, you have said that we zero rate the input taxes, which is also brought down affordable. In fact, it has reduced the cost of construction by 10%. The other one, Excellency, is the issue of public funding. We know that one of the reasons why Kenyans were fought so hard is because, we have not covered ourselves in glory. We have built projects at very high cost. You said from the beginning that one of the areas that we have to bring in trust to the people is cost. And what you did, you called 7 institutions. You called in Nairobi University, you called in Technical University of Kenya, you called in Kenyatta University, AAK, which is the Associate of Architects, IQSK of QSs, IEK, you had National Construction Authority, and you had National Housing Corporation. And you asked them to design for you a house and to give you a market cost. Your Excellency, I want to confirm that since we started this program, we actually have fixed the cost of the unit. So, and it is determinable, and anybody who wants to construct, there is no seeing the PS on the side, we disclose the price of that. What that has done, Your Excellency, is that it has meant that today there is a social housing unit that costs 640,000 shillings. Now, when you talk about 640,000, people can afford. The World Bank here, Your Excellency, did a study in 2017, which is titled Unaffordable and Unavailable. In that study of 2017, it showed that the average cost of a house in Nairobi was 11 million. So you moved from 11 million to 640. That is a significant difference. That's why you have Jerusha and Lillian here who are homeowners today. Then, Your Excellency, you have the demand side. The demand side is about the cost of financing Kenyans. Your Excellency, before this program, and we have been having a high interest rate regime, interest rates for people who had homes reached even 20%. Under your program, you have got 3 interest rate regimes. You have got a social housing, which is 3%, fixed. So even if in 10 years, the interest rates in the country goes to 30, this person will still be paying 3%. It is fixed. The other one is affordable housing, which is 6%, again fixed. And then for everybody else who is in the market units, like myself, and anybody else who is interested, it is at 9%. So the most expensive mortgage you will get is at 9%. The last part is the tenure, the how long you pay. Now, in this country, Your Excellency, we've not had long-term mortgages. Again, through that study from the World Bank, it showed that the average tenure of a house was 7.5 years. So if you have got expensive land, expensive construction amount, which leads to a... That's why, Your Excellency, for a country of 50 million Kenyans, you have only 30,000 mortgages. So those things don't happen by accident, they happen because the system is broken. So what you have done is we have reduced all those things. So what does that translate to? It translates to Jerusha paying 2,800 shillings for her house. This is the same amount of money that she was paying for that shack. She also pays service charge and pays for insurance. So anything that happens to that house, she is covered. So the total amount that she's paying is 3,800. That is how much she's paying to be a homeowner. And that is what she was paying for a shack. Then you have got Chief Inspector Judy, who we give them allowances for our police. They get about 9,000 shillings on average. Obviously, it differs. At 9,000, Your Excellency, she can now afford to get our 2-bedroom housing unit, which is around that same amount. So this program, Your Excellency, has got something for everybody. It would have been easy if you had said, let's just deal for the high income. But whether you're in the slum, whether you are selling Mama Mboga, you start from 2,800, you go all the way to 15,000 for a 3-bedroom, which has got all the amenities, Your Excellency. It has got electricity, it has water, it has gas, it has internet.
I think contextualize this for Judy and our men.